Now, let me show you. Actually, this is something that we want to build as our sign-in page. So we'll have our logo over here. Well, actually, it's not a logo, it's a text. And then sign-in options, like that. Okay, so these are the things that we want to do. Well, in future, we'll also see how to log in with phone numbers. We'll do that. Okay. Anyway, so that's what we want to do first. Well, so that also means that we want to put everything in a column format. Okay, so, and we want to center pretty much everything. So for this reason, over here, instead of center, actually we'll have column. Okay, sorry, inside the center we'll have column. So I'm going to remove this. We don't need any of this. So here we'll just have column, and then we're going to return children. So we're gonna return inside this a bunch of children. Now it wants us to remove this one, and the error should be gone. Now inside this, actually, first we'll go ahead and create our logo item. Okay, so here we'll return a widget, so we'll call it widget, and then we'll do build logo, and then we'll just simply return a container, and container is a widget, so you can always return widget or container as a widget. Actually, widget is something that you see on the screen, so that's called widget. Now, if you see over here, what do you want to do? We want to show this text over here, right? So let's go ahead and draw it. And before we start drawing, actually, we could do one thing. So we can actually call our widget from here. So column takes a bunch of widgets, and we are giving it one of the widgets over here. And now everything is gone because this container is empty, right? But of course, you could do a lot of interesting stuff with this container, but this is not a very beginner's tutorial, so I'm not going to cover that. But inside this, definitely you can have a text as a child, and then inside this we'll have chatty dot, and that's what we want to show. But we see it at the very top, actually. So this is not where we want to see that. Now for that reason, we could actually over here set up a margin for this. Now the margin would be something like edge insets, and then we would do only, and then here we would do top. So from top we would get down 100 points, and we would also do bottom, and from bottom would also be up around 80 points. Now this H refers to a unit, which is also coming from a package that we have already installed. That's called package screen util. So that's what we are going to use. So with this, that means that from the top we come down up to like this, and from bottom we'll also have certain distance. Now for that, go ahead and save it and see how it looks. Yeah, so this is where and what we see. All right, okay. Now the text, something is that we don't want like that, so definitely we could do much better. Now make sure that it's in the middle. So here we do text align dot center. Okay, let's save it. Well, it's already centered, I guess. And inside this we can do style, and here we do text style, and text style. For this we could set up color, right? So here we would do app colors and primary text, so which is kind of black color for us. So we'll just refer to this one, and let's save it. Okay, now there is no change for it, I guess, until we change the font weight, and then we would do font weight dot bold. Let's save it. Now we already see a bit of change, And after that, actually here we could just simply return font size. So you do 34 SP. Now SP is unit for text, which is also coming from this one. Now with this, it's already looking better, and we are happy with that. And right after this, actually we want to show these things over here, right? Okay. Now, actually, before we go ahead, I think we could do one more thing. We could set up our background color. Right now, the background color is not correct for scaffold. So let's go ahead and do a background color. Now over here, we would do app colors once again, and primary, secondary background. All right. Okay, so make sure with this, our app has the correct background color. And of course, this is coming from over here. Now, this is background gray color. Okay, so I'm going to do it here, background gray color, like that. All right. So as we work, we'll change other things later. Okay, now I'm going to close this. Now, this time, actually, we are going to build these things, okay? Now, for that one, once again, we need to create a method. So we'll go ahead and create a method over here. So what is it? So first, we'll create a method to log in as a Google user. Now, over here, we are going to return a widget one more time. And then here we'll have a method. We'll call it build third party Google login, like that. And inside this, we need to return a container. Okay, and with this, our error should be gone. Now, we can call it immediately, right now. Okay, now here, what we could do? Well, here we can just simply go ahead and call build third party login. Build third party login. Over here, we want to do one thing actually. We want to send over here something called Google. Okay. Now over here in the method itself, we need to get it as a string. So we'll say login type, log in type, just like that. Okay, so yeah, now if we save it, of course nothing is there. Now the first thing you have to see that, so these two things are in a row, right? So definitely we need to go ahead and work with rows. And even before that, we need to give it a width and height, right? So the first thing we'll do over here, let's go ahead and give it a width and height. So our bottom should be like this. So it will have width 295 points, and then height would do 44.h. Now W is used for width, and H is used for height. You should know that. And right after that, actually, if we save it, definitely will not see anything yet. And try to do a decoration over here, okay? So that we see color. So we'll do box decoration. And inside this, we'll set up the color. And our color, once again, we'll get them from app colors. And we'll call it primary background color. Now let's save it. All right, and we already see that we have a bit of element over here, and it's working. Now, if you want to see the color, this color is over here, background white color. We can say like that, background white color. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. Now, we want to achieve other things with this. So definitely want to give it a border radius, right? So over here we would do border radius dot all, this one, and then over here we do radius dot circular. We want to give it circular border, and that's what we'll have. So now we see we already have a bit of change, and we want to make it a bit obvious. So that's why we want to give it box shadow, because right now you see it's not really obvious. But if you see an original design, it's very obvious, right? Like it came out from the surface, something like that. So over here, we want to do box shadow. The box shadow is a property which takes a list of box shadows. So this is a list actually. Whenever you see this kind of braces, that means that it takes list. Okay. All right. Now here we'll have color. Definitely we would do colors.gray, and then with opacity, say 0.1. Let's save it. All right. Now we still don't have any obvious changes because there are a few other properties we need to set up. Spread radius, and then we'll have blur radius. Let's save it. We might see some changes, as well as now we'll have offset. Okay, now with offset, we have to call the offset constructor, and then here we do 0, 1. Now let's save it. Now we already see that this is getting better. If you take out offset, now, well, it's still there. Okay, now if you take out blur radius, all right, and if you take out spread radius, so everything is gone. So these three properties, spread radius, blur radius, and offset, these three properties you should play around until you get your satisfied result. So let's use one by one. So now here I have spread radius. It already looks obvious. Then we have blur radius, which with this more obvious, and offset. All right, so it's looking great. Now over here, let's see what it wants us. It wants us to use const. Let's go ahead and do that. And over here, I guess it wants the same thing. Now it looks better. Okay, so that's what we have now. And with this, it looks better. Now let's come out of this decoration and now go back to child section. And earlier we said, and we have seen that we need child like this. So it has to be a row, right? So that's why we have a row over here. Two things we are putting next to each other. Now let's go ahead and check it. So what do you want to put here first? Well, we want to have this text and the logo, and both of them, in fact, we can use simply just container to do that. Now, there is no certain way of doing this thing, and no absolute way. You can do many different ways. So here inside this, we'll have a child, and then we'll do image.asset. Now here we'll do assets, icons, google.png. Okay, now let's save it, and we'll see, yes, it's already there, and it's pretty big, but we'll take care of it very soon. Now let's go ahead and apply a bit of padding to it, and here we do add insets only. Now inside this we do left. Say you want to get a bit of distance from the left side. Okay, now it looks better. And from the right side, 30.w. But now right on the right we don't have anything, so it doesn't really matter. Now one thing though, if you see our assets, now all the assets are over here, which means our icons, audios, and fonts and everything is here. So right now we are inside this folder, and whatever we needed to build this whole app, everything is here. So go ahead and use them. All right. Okay, so that was the first item. And now over here, we can have another container like the text itself. So here we'll have child, and then we do text. Now over here, we do sign in with Google. So that's what we want to show over here, and we already see that. And right now, for the text style, what we could do, we can just simply go ahead and copy this section so that we don't have to type it. Now just put it here. All right, now a lot of the things might look very big, so we don't want that big, so let's go ahead and reduce it to 14. All right, now which already looks good. And then here we could do normal, so it'll change over here as well. So let's do it. Okay, great. And the color, whatever the color is there, we can just simply go ahead and use that. Okay, now so that's for the Google one itself. But now here you see it's really way too big, and that's not what we want. We want to reduce the size. And how to do that? Actually, we can apply padding inside this container itself. Before that, if you make it 0, actually you'll see that they attach together. So that's why on the right we have this one. So this is the problem right now. So it's too big and we need to reduce the size. Now how to do that? Now that would be coming from applying our main container over here. So that's the parent container, and inside this actually we could do a padding. So what would be the padding? Here we do edge insets dot only. Not only, we want to do it everywhere. So here we do 10 points everywhere. So which means left, right, bottom, like that. Now let's save it, and you see that it looks much better and small, and that's what we wanted. Okay, all right. Now we want to do the same for Facebook, Apple login, and like that. So how to work with this? Now we already made the layout for this, and we should be pretty good to go. So we're gonna just simply call this method again and again with different types. Now over here, we don't want capital letter, we could do actual small letter. And then we just copy this one. So Control C, so we do Control V. Now here we could do like Facebook, sign in with Facebook. Well, actually big J is good because with this we could be very good. All right, just like this. Okay. And now let's go ahead and save it. And we say it like this. But definitely a lot of the things we need to change it right now. And so we need to set some condition. Now the first thing we could do, you see they're too close to each other. And for this reason, actually, we could do margin. So here we do edge insets dot only, and then here we do bottom 15.h. So now with this, we'd be able to separate them. All right. Okay, great. Now here, of course, we don't want to show Google. We want to show Facebook. Now, how to do this thing? So it has to be dynamic, these words, right? Yeah. Now, to be able to work with this, like different names for each of the button over here, one thing we could do, we can pass more items to it. Like, for example, over here, we could do Google, and over here, we could do Facebook. Now, there are many different ways we could do. We can also use extension to do that, but I'm not going to do that over here. Now, of course, in this method itself, we have to have another parameter, and we'll call it string logo. Okay, all right. Now, whatever the logo name is, actually, we'd be using over here. Now, for this reason, actually, I'm going to cut this one, and then I'm going to use $sign, and inside this, I'll have this braces. And then I'll use logo. So with this, whatever value you pass, it would be taken over here. And this becomes dynamic. So if you have a value, a variable that has dynamic values and should be inside a string, then you have to use this dollar sign and then curly braces and then your other strings. Okay, of course inside the curly braces you have to use your variable name. Now the same goes here. Okay, now I'm going to cancel this, remove this, and then dollar sign and then the curly braces, and then here I would say login type. So this is the variable. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and save it and we'll see the changes immediately. Okay, so we have the Facebook logo and Google logo, and they have different string as well, and it's beautiful. And as well as over here we can copy this, and then I'm going to put it here. So here I would do Apple, and the logo name is small letter Apple. Okay, and it's beautiful, and this one is looking more and more like this. Great, wonderful. So next we'll see how to work with this UI section. All right, so far we have these 3 buttons, but there's one problem. We want to change the name of this function. We don't want to call it Google because not just for Google, it could be for any kind of third party. So just let's go ahead and change this name. And after that, over here at the top, we gotta do the same. We need to change the name over here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, now let's save it and it should be working. Now let's take a look what we want to do next. So while next we want to work on this divider and then sign in with phone number, right? Okay, now how to do that? Well, that's actually pretty easy. We already laid out everything. So we would come over here, and inside this actually we could do something like, for example, container, and then over here we'll have, like, if you take a look at this, let's say our design. So one thing I have to tell you, so this is in a row, so we'll have 3 elements, this one, this, and this. Okay, so the first thing we want to do over here, we want to do a child over here, and then child would be the row, and inside this over here we'll have children, right? Because the row takes a bunch of children and it takes a list of children. As you can see, this means list. Okay, right after this actually we're gonna use a divider. Okay, now let's go ahead and do that. So divider is a widget that's shipped out of Flutter automatically. So let's go ahead and do this widget, and right after this over here we're gonna use height. So height 2.h, and then we're gonna also use color. So over here we'd use app colors dot primary secondary element text, actually this color, and we should be good to go. Now let's go ahead and save it, and well, it's still not visible, and let's see if we have any error or not. Okay, well, it's not showing up, but it doesn't matter. Next, right inside this divider, right after this, we're gonna use a text over here, and let's go ahead and use a const, and here we'll have one so we'll create a bit of space and like this, and that's it. Okay, now we see it over here. All right, now we're gonna copy divider one more time and put it right there, and of course nothing is there yet and nothing is visible at all. Okay. Now of course this is not what we want, so for this reason actually we can wrap this around a widget, and so just wrap it around the widget, and the widget name is expanded. Expanded. So what this widget would do, actually this widget would try to expand it. As you can see over here, it's trying to expand to the whole width. Okay, so if you have a child and you want the child to take the overall UI space or on the width or horizontally, you're going to use expanded widget. Now we're going to do the same this for this divider. I'm in Mac, so I'm going to hit Option Enter, and let's see. Okay, so all right. So now here I'm gonna hit Option Enter, and here I'll also see that I can choose my expanded widget. Now on both sides it would be like this. Okay, great. Now there's other properties that actually we can use over here. Now here this is something called indent 50, so it'll create a bit of space over here. So let's go ahead and do that, and as you see it looks much better. And we do the same over here, indent, so it would create a space like 50. Okay, let's see whether it restored it or not. Okay, no, instead of doing indent like this, actually we could also do like this. So here we would do end indent, okay, like that. Okay, great. So now as you can see over here, it looks much better. Okay, great. Now with this we are done, pretty much done in this section. Now of course we want to create a little bit of distance at the top, and so for this reason actually we can use margin. So let's come over here and do margin, and here we would do edge insets dot only, and then we would do top, we would do 20 pixels. On the bottom we would do 35 pixel. The bottom is not visible yet, but I'll show it why it's important. Okay, now with this we are done, but actually what we could do, we can just cut this and create a new widget over here. All right, so here we'll just return widget, and we'll call build or widget. That's as simple as that one. And right after this we're going to just return container, and then over here we would say build or widget. Okay, and with this we look much better. Okay, I mean our code looks cleaner, right? Okay, great. And then what do you want to do next? Now this is the time that we go ahead and work with this option over here. Now how to do that? Well, we already have a method for this, so we're gonna just go ahead and copy paste this. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and yes, we already see this, but of course this is not what we want. Now over here, one thing first, we would say with phone number. Okay, with our phone number, just phone number. All right, okay, now it looks much better, but in this case we don't have this logo. Now how to work with this thing? We need to get rid of the logo. Now if you take a closer look over here, we have this logo section, right? Now we could do a conditional check on this. So for logo itself, actually we don't need to pass anything. So over here we know that this text, this stand for logo, so we can just pass empty string for this one. But before that, actually we need to do a check. So over here we would check logo. Well, if logo empty, then we're just gonna show empty container. Otherwise we're gonna show whatever we had over here. So right now with this we're gonna pass empty string. Just take the word apple out and you are good to go. All right, so it's gone, but others do work. All right, now what's the problem over here? So we messed up with the alignment, so we need to check with that. Now if you come over here and try to do the alignment, so our alignment should be actually here. Now I want to put everything, this one in the center. So over here we could do main axis alignment. Okay, main axis alignment, and here we do main axis alignment dot center. Now with this we'll have a bit of problem actually, so it messed up, so we still need to do a conditional check over here. Now we can just simply do this check. So I'm gonna copy this from here and put it right here. So if logo is empty, then we put it in the center. otherwise we're gonna put it in the main axis alignment dot start. We start everything from the scratch. All right, okay, great. Now you see it looks much better now. Okay, great. So we are almost done with this, and next we want to focus on this section over here. Now that section should be right below actually this one, so that also means that we could do it over here. Now, if you take a look at this one, over here already have an account. So this thing is actually a column format, right? So we're gonna return a column over here. So let's do it. Now inside this, we'll have children one more time. And then we'll have text. And for the text itself, we'll say already have an account like that. Okay. And then a lot of the other properties, actually, we can just simply copy from here, the one we did before. So let's go ahead and copy that. So we'll put it right after this. And now let's save it. Okay, we already see that. Now over here, we need to change the text to 12 SP so that it works well. And then everything else stays the same, including the color. We're good with that. Now here, now if you see, this is too close to this one. Now what we could do over here. Now if you look and come over here, we can actually put a sized box over here. So that's what we would do, sized box. And then here we would do height. And for the height itself, we would do like this. 40.h, and with this we'll have a bit of distance with this and we'll be good to go. Now it looks better. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is this text down there, like this one. So let's go ahead and do that. So for this one, actually we can just go ahead and simply copy this. Okay, great. Now we'll call over here, let's sign up. Okay, sign up here, and everything else stays the same so far. Let's go ahead and save it. Yes, we see it's beautiful. Now we're gonna wrap this text around a gesture detector because we want to make it clickable. So here we would do like this, and here we do gesture detector. Now let's save it. We want to change the color of this. We don't want this color. So over here, we could do primary element like this. Now you see the color changed. Now, if you don't know what color is this, so we can just simply go ahead and check it. So this is the color, primary color, and we are using an RGB color for this. So we're just simply returning it from this class over here. And our primary text color was like this one. So I'll make an English comment over here, primary color black. Okay, so this is the black color we have, and that's being used over here. All right, so with this we are almost done.